Trainers, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about... Now we are reaching the end of the 2-week span for HISUI Cup, and it is time to bring out God himself. Now, unfortunately, we can't bring Bidoof. I'm not gonna try and make an XL Bidoof and figure out how that works, but we can evolve it to BIBAREL and run it in the HISUI Cup. It actually has a couple targets, including the Ghost types being one of the strongest counters to Frostlass, while also dealing heavy damage to Bastiodon, and if it can get a charge move off, it can damage a Toxicroak. Now, obviously, we don't want it faced up against a counter user such as Toxicroak or Lucario, but even if we get stuck in there, water gun damage will add up, and if we can launch a charge move, then we could get a shield. So we're just gonna have to pair it with something such as Drifblim to be able to hard counter more of those fighting types and provide a little safety net for the BIBAREL. So let's get right into the battles. So we're gonna be using BIBAREL, and we're gonna pair it up with Drifblim here. We're gonna actually, I believe, put Drifblim in the front, as Drifblim is the Pokemon that's gonna counter BIBAREL's counters the hardest. This is something like a Toxicroak or a Lucario. Both of them having access to Shadow Ball. However, in general, not being able to deal damage with counters and Drifblim being able to answer is going to make this a pairing here that we're going to go for. And of course, Toxicroak in the back just for those dark types. Leading in here, we have Drifblim versus Bronzong. Have not seen a lot of Bronzong, but Drifblim locked into the Bronzong here. Drifblim will do well. We do have to look out for potential payback from the Bronzong, but this is meaning that the Toxicroak in the back is going to be fairly strong. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't have another Toxicroak counter, but Confusion users do tend to be the hardest hitting thing. So we're going to shield up. We don't see the payback. Instead, actually, we get a Psyshock. Bronzong being very close to another one there, if not possibly over farming, but we go for the Shadow Ball to get that shield after we got the shield on the Icy Wind. We get another Shadow Ball here. This is going to be some heavy pressure or damage, and wow, the Empoleon actually goes down. Empoleon lets it through, throws in, there's that other Toxicroak counter, ABA strong against Toxicroak, but are we even going to use Toxicroak here? BIBAREL going up against Gastrodon, dealing us neutral damage with the water gun, shielding up because we know we need to preserve this HP. We need to whittle down his HP. He has a shield left up, so this is all going to come down to fast moves. So we're not worried about throwing Surf. We're not worried about trying to get the Mud Bombs. So we need to be doing as much damage as possible. We throw the Surf just in case, but it comes down to those fast moves. Game 2, Drifblim into Toxicroak. Again, great for BIBAREL here. We also made a quick switch. We switched off our own Toxicroak for the Frostlass because our team had a little bit of an issue with Frostlass. It wasn't a fun lead, as well as Toxicroak felt like a little bit of a liability. So remembering the Shadow Ball potential, we get the shield on Shadow Ball, and there is Frostlass on the switch in, means that BIBAREL is locked in its perfect position. The normal water typing means that I resist everything Frostlass froze. Now that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. You saw how much damage that did there. It still does a hefty chunk of damage, but we get to fight back, getting that Surf off. We have shield advantage here, so keeping this shield advantage, we decide switch might be more important. Having seen the Frostlass here, I don't actually want to fight this Frostlass if it has potential energy against either one of my other Pokemon. So we're going to go down shield advantage, hope that the Toxicroak comes back. There we go, getting a few counters off, but not enough to be worth it. We're actually going to be getting almost to that Shadow Ball. Toxicroak gets a move off, and it is the Shadow Ball, but this is why we have Frostlass. And there's a Staraptor in the back. Now, many people probably haven't seen that much Staraptor, maybe a little bit in HISUI Cup, but that thing is fairly attack weighted, so we're not going to mess around. We don't want to be getting hit by any charge moves, so we're barely over farming. We're just going pretty much straight for Avalanche here, and getting that Avalanche for the Toxicroak before he gets the Shadow Ball. We are up 2-0 with BIBAREL. Drifblim into Frostlass. Now, this is why we brought our own Frostlass, so we can match later on if BIBAREL doesn't get stuck on it. So throughout this set, we end up finding different ways to play against Frostlass, but right now we're charging all the way to Shadow Ball and then throwing the Icy Wind. Almost always gets the shield because we get to throw first in that case, and Avalanche will one-shot Frostlass no matter what, it does one-shot. So we know that we're going to have to shield if we want to make an investment here, but Frostlass has to make a call. Now on this time, we decide that instead of trying to get to the next Shadow Ball, we're going to let this go. We're going to go for the double debuff, come in with BIBAREL and farm down. I wasn't sure if she was actually going to make it to another move or not, but decided to farm all the way down, and this is this weird position where even though Toxicroak counters BIBAREL, look at that Surf damage. And in the back is Munchlax. Now this is awkward because Munchlax, this is not running tackle. So unfortunately, we switch out Toxicroak, and now we have our Ghost type against the Lick normal type here. But we do outpace. We're gonna let this go because it's just Body Slam. I'm not saying that we're really good at counting licks, but we got that one. We've been playing some Serene Cup battles. If you know what that is, you know Munchlax and lick counters are OP. And we want to save this energy here. So we're going to be getting BIBAREL in here, trying to farm down. We want to land a Surf on Toxicroak. So we're going to farm down here, and we are, I think, 1 counter away. 2 counters, we might have made it, but it doesn't work out. Shield gets saved for next game. Drifloon against Toxicroak, again, great lineup here. Preparing for a similar team, not necessarily that I think there's going to be a Munchlax in the back. That was fairly unique, but preparing for a Frostlass somewhere. So we're going to throw the Icy Wind. Even though this could be a Shadow Ball and the Icy Wind debuffs, we are shielding so that, you know, Shadow Ball, even with the debuff, is going to just about one-shot. Now we do get to a Mud Bomb here, not Shadow Ball, so we're counting and we let that go. We're keeping this huge energy advantage. In comes the Dark type. Now, because of how much energy we have saved here on the Drifloon, we're able to throw 2 back-to-back Icy Winds. Now, this is going to not only debuff the holy crap out of this Drapion, but it's doing some damage too. If this is a crunch, I don't remember if this is a crunch or not, but look at that, leaves us alive with a good chunk of damage. We even can farm a little bit more before we get this next Icy Wind off. This double debuff, now it's triple debuffed. So we come in with our other Ghost type, and he answers with a Flying Ghost type. We didn't even get to use BIBAREL, but BIBAREL would have been perfect there into any moveset that the Drifloon could have had. So now we're in the Mirror matchup. Again, several ways to play the Mirror matchup because Icy Wind is super effective, but we're going to go for getting that 1 extra farm there and letting the first Icy Wind go. So we go 1 more, we get to Shadow Ball. Just about going to guarantee a shield unless he wants to go down, but we do get that guaranteed shield and we get farmed down. Now this is where BIBAREL comes out to play. He has to swap there so he doesn't get entirely farmed down while dealing all resisted damage to us. So we're able to get 2 shielded Frostlass locked onto a Toxicroak with a Drifloon in the back. Now Drifloon did throw only an Icy Wind and charged up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be at a Shadow Ball yet, and if it is, Frostlass still wins CMP. So we're going to double shield Frostlass and farm up here a lot. Throwing, because we don't want to get hit by that last second Mud Bomb that's coming through pretty soon. We're not counting exactly, but we're getting just enough so that we have enough farm and get some pressure on there. In comes Drifloon and gets 1 Hex off. Might have been lag. It looks like it only got 1 Hex. We got 2 Powder Snows and a move. In comes Empoleon. Now, this is not great for us. We have to instant swap there pretty much no matter what, unless it's something that Frostlass entirely counters. So we have to come in BIBAREL. Luckily, it's not Lucario, perhaps, but this is doing a lot of damage. Just Drill Peck. This is coming right down to the wire. We're dealing resisted damage, and the Drill Pecks are neutral, and Drill Pecks hit hard, but that Empoleon is not known to be tanky, so 2 Surfs take it out, and that is a 4-1 for the BIBAREL. I think there was only 1 game it didn't play, but if it did play that 1 game, we would have gotten to have it locked on a Drapion. I think we only weren't playing because our opponent top lefted, so GG's. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to smack that like button and let me know down in the comments what you're looking forward to using in the Evolution Cup. Be on the lookout for that one.